Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Wild Hearts. What is Wild Hearts? If you've ever played a Monster Hunter game, this is similar. So expect to be fighting big monsters with melee weapons and lots of rolling and dodging attacks from said monsters. It being a Monster Hunter clone has its advantages and disadvantages. Some advantages being, you mostly know what to expect, and they can change things up from the usual Monster Hunter formula without upsetting long-term fans. The downside is, you might have a certain expectation of the game, and the game definitely is not as fleshed out as a long-standing series like Monster Hunter. But does the gameplay stack up to Monster Hunter's? Let's talk about that. The gameplay, like Monster Hunter, involves you preparing to fight and tracking down big monsters to then finally fight them. You'll also find yourself upgrading your equipment and your character's abilities as well. Wild Hearts does differ in one mechanic from Monster Hunter, however. That is, with a mechanic that lets you build structures to use during fights. Using these structures, you'll think up new ways of approaching attack or defense in a fight. What about the story? The story doesn't play a huge role in this game, which is standard for Monster Hunter as well. You play as a traveling hunter looking for work. Turns out that hunting the monsters you fight in the game is the work that you get paid to do. Simple enough, but the full story will still take up about 30 hours of your time, more if you decide to do side content. The game starts a little slow before you get the full experience, but the length means you'll have a good amount of time to play even after that. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat?
So, Henrick,
Yeah, so
oh, sorry, I'm already jumping on you.
no, you're totally fine. So this is Wild Hearts. It actually is a pretty cool game. You know, it has a pretty awesome aesthetic to it, and the gameplay is pretty fun. For me personally, this is a really an interesting one because I want to say this is probably a pause for me, simply because I'm used to the Monster Hunter series, and that series, compared to this one, since it's so fresh and brand new, it doesn't have as much going on with it as the Monster Hunter series is, because that one's been around since forever ago, like 20 years at this point it's been around. But I will say it is good to have some competition, so I appreciate there being competition in that genre because that pushes the Monster Hunter developers to do better and also pushes this company to kind of try and be competitive, you know, and give a different experience other than Monster Hunter. And I think that they did try to, you know, innovate a little bit with the building mechanic, and
yeah,
you know,
I agree with you.
I think it's a good game. It's just not for me, basically. But I'm curious, what are your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, I think Wild Hearts is definitely a game that you want to reserve when it's not $70. It's definitely a game that you would want to play. You nailed it so perfectly in that introductory video where you got 30 hours of story mode gameplay, but there's not a solidified, you know, storyline. That always drives me up a wall when I'm playing video games. You know, I'm always invested in the story. So if I'm going to be playing 30 hours worth of content, I don't want it to feel like it's a nonstop side quest 24/7. You know, the building mechanics, they're kind of cool. It doesn't jive me too much. I mean, I know you got Monster Hunter vibes. I got a lot of Horizon Forbidden West and Shadow of the Colossus mixed with this. I mean, I think the monsters and the graphics are completely bitching, but I feel like after you finish the gameplay with so much, you know, games out there today, you're gonna move on, I think. And so I'm gonna label this as a pause myself.
No, I definitely agree. The whole comment you made about the $70, like I probably would wait for a sale personally. Like it looks like a great game, but $70 is a little much, and you know, considering there's other games I want to play more than this one,
Yeah,
I'll wait for a sale.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The building mechanics is something new and different. We haven't seen it before.